You know, it's nice to be the same family doing the same thing in the same place for 130 years. So it's some history like, and we still have stayed small because our motto has always been small is beautiful. The Scotch brick oven here, which you see, it is a wood-fired oven traditionally, and the wood used to be in here, and the ashes went down here, and they were converted somewhere in, my father, somewhere in the 50s, he had them converted to oil. They are not thermostatically controlled, these ovens. They have to be switched on. When the bakers come in at night, they come in at 10 o'clock at night, they switch on these ovens and they take 2 to 3 hours to bring up to temperature to bake the first batch of bread. 20 minutes for 2 men to put in about 160, 70 large 800 gram pan loaves into that. And it takes 2 men to load it, and they have it unloaded 15 minutes. But before it goes in, it has reached temperature, they switch it off. So the bread is actually being baked in a falling heat. So when they unload the oven then, they have to turn it on again for 20 minutes to give it another firing. But the original firing when they come in for 2 to 3 hours is the basis heat for that oven for the night's work. But after each batch comes out, it has to be refired for 20 minutes. This is a very healthy way for making good bread because it bakes it really, really well. You need a lot of bottom heat for making good bread, and that's what these ovens give. It's a basic bottom heat, and the heat is taken in slowly by the brick, and then it's switched off, and when the bread goes in, the heat comes out of the brick and bakes the, you know. So it's back to it's the first, as you know, bread is the first food, and it's the staff of life, and it's very much a biblical thing. It's very, you know, and it's a very good way of making a living too, very wholesome. You know, you bake bread for someone, you're nourishing people. You're a doctor. My father used to say, you know, you're a doctor, you have to have it good and good quality for people. And that's what he was doing. He was nourishing and feeding the people around him. I've been doing it for 42 years and longer, I suppose, yes. So baking is a lovely occupation or way of making a living because it's very fulfilling, because it's only as good as the passion you put into it when you're making it. 10 grams of salt, 13 grams of sugar. My life could have taken a different turn altogether because I wanted to do au pair, and I was so saddened when I didn't get that job. And you know, I suppose I was meant to be here. We all worked in the bakery, yes, and we all had a passion for baking. I'm the youngest of 5 girls. I was the only one that I suppose was interested in taking over the bakery. My father used to make this recipe. I worked with him for a while in the bakery. He died in 1980. And, you know, it was great to work with him. It's something I'm very proud of, really, because my father was a very good man. He reared lots of children. He made his bread here and got into the van after his night's work and went out and delivered it to the countryside. And lots of people in those days didn't have money, and if there were big families, because they were all big Catholic families, and they hadn't money, and my father would never look for payment. So I've always felt that his goodness has come back to us. We've been very lucky, Joe and I often think it's what's gone before us has been rewarded in a different way, you know. And the same here.
that was it. But you know, the memory of him baking bread was he just was so passionate about it. He loved it, and he'd wonder how, when it came out, and that's made him happy. When the bread is good, I'm good, he'd say. If the bread is good, I'm good. But he would be very disappointed if the bread came out and it wasn't. But he was very proud. He told me that the week before he died. Yeah. And I always remember when he died, I used to be out making big batches of those soda breads that I made for you now, and mixed it by hand, and I used to be crying. And I don't know if you know that psalm, his goodness will follow me always. That used to keep coming into my head. His goodness shall follow me always through the end of his days. Because he was a very good man. And this was the Saddler's Tea Shop, which is where we had the tea inside the window. But that was it back in 1983 when I bought the Saddler's Tea Shop. That was adjacent to the bakery. I bought it in 1980. My father died in 1980 and I bought that. And we opened it in 83 as a coffee shop. I had builders in and they and it was a huge interest in Cappoquin at the time because we never had a tea shop in Cappoquin until then. It's a very old-fashioned thing, Chester cake. It's spicy and it's fruit, and it's sweet, and it has a lovely shortbread biscuit pastry. I added this on to what I inherited. I'm very proud, very, very proud, yeah. I fulfilled my dream in life, which is this, that I produced it and that I made it to what it is today, and it has got recognition in lots and lots of awards. And I suppose when you achieve what you had a passion for in life and did it well, and to come out the other end healthy and ready to enjoy the rest of my life, it is a great fulfillment for any human being. And it's so important to do what you love to do. But to find that can be difficult. But I certainly was passionate about the bakery. I had it always. Yeah. And I carried it on from 1980 to 93. And then my husband, Joe Prendergast, joined me, and he brought a lot of marketing skills. His profession is agriculture, a Bachelor of Agriculture. He loves the organic. He's big into biodynamic agriculture. But he enjoyed making good bread, and he enjoyed what I was doing. I needed his expertise in the bakery, and now Joe is running the bakery effectively. And Joe then tackled the sales thing when we came in, so we got more power market-wise because of his skills, and he brought his new blood into it, gave it new life. It possibly would have died in the mid-90s only for Joe, and that has brought it into 2016, which is brilliant. For the iced ones, yeah.
The inside ones, please.
Okay, no problem. You know, we have that sense of community, yeah. Everybody knows about Barron's Bakery. They love our bread. I mean, this is the wonderful thing about the farmers market. It is the comeback to the community, because when you come to the farmers market, they're not rushing. It's a different environment to shopping than anywhere else. So people come to support it because they're leaving their money within their own community, and that's a great thing. Well, I think the future is that a new generation comes along, and that has started in the coffee shop. You've Emma and Aoife after taking over the coffee shop, and I hope that will be a very successful story because they have children coming on. So let's hope and pray that's what will be. That is the best thing that could have ever happened to me the day they came knocking on the door. It was wonderful, yeah. I've achieved an awful lot and I fulfilled my dream, and I'm ready to move on to enjoying life.